Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we have a review of Hot Toys Stormtrooper with Death Star Environment, MMS736. And this is my very first Stormtrooper from Hot Toys. I've got a couple Scout Troopers, and I also have some Shore Troopers, but never had a Stormtrooper. With this LED background that it comes with, the Death Star background, kind of put me over the top to finally get a Stormtrooper. And, you can troop build these if you want. Some people are doing that. It'd be nice if Hot Toys would sell this Death Star display, background display by itself. It hasn't happened yet, but it'd be cool. Anyway, regardless, this is a cool presentation, typical Star Wars shoebox by Hot Toys. And I'm told that this is a version of Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper. As much as I know Star Wars, I'm terrible about knowing what type of Stormtrooper from which episode. And I thought it was episode 4, honestly, because of the green lenses. But someone said, a couple people have said it's from Return of the Jedi. So say what you will. I've heard people say the helmet doesn't exactly match Return of the Jedi. For me, I've never really noticed that stuff that much. But cool packaging, as typical, the black and gray. And on the back just kind of talks about Hot Toys a little bit and the product. And then down here is the UPC and the Disney hologram. And on the side, you get a cool little band here with the Stormtrooper and that super cool LED backdrop from the Death Star. So if this is Return of the Jedi, it's the Death Star 2 then, is what we're looking at here. But I guess you could, argue it's from A New Hope. But again, people said Return of the Jedi. So let's go ahead and take a look at this guy and see all he comes with. Okay, when you take off the front, you're greeted by this nice marketing from Hot Toys, daring you to buy more, to have a full army of Stormtroopers and full panels from the Death Star. So by all means, if you think you can do that and want to do that and have the means to do that, go for it. I would like to. One, I don't have space, and two, I don't need 4 Stormtroopers. I have other figures I want, but cool that they have that. So here's the figure. And one of the nice things about this figure, and we'll get into it, is typically with Trooper figures, they are cheaper, but they don't give you as many accessories. They usually maybe have 4, maybe 5 hands. This Stormtrooper comes with seven hands. So that's kind of cool, different poses. And then there's the E11 blaster. We'll look at that in more detail. And then beneath the Stormtrooper, if I can get this out, is that super cool Death Star panel background. And I believe it's battery powered. It's not USB powered. So when I say batteries, I think it's AAA. But we'll look at the directions just to confirm. So that's not too bad. If it was those dime batteries, those things don't last for nothing. So at least if it's AAA, it'll last a good while. And it's nice that it's LED. So that's really cool. So let's get this stuff all unpackaged and take a closer look. All right, and he comes with some directions. I was hoping the thermal detonator would be magnetic. It's not. You have to strap it on to this Velcro pouch back here. It's not usually easy. I know with the Scout Trooper, I had a heck of a time doing that. So I was hoping they would make it magnetized, but we'll fiddle with that, get that on. And then it shows you the pleather holster, which this will probably be the first thing to deteriorate in this figure. And how the blaster pistol, the 11, goes into there, and it's got a magnetic clip at the end there. And then it shows you how to set up the Death Star background, which I've already done. Pretty much your typical stand just slides in and connects to that, and then the crotch grabber stand goes in there like normal. And on the back is where you turn it on. A panel slides up, and you turn it on there and put the batteries in. I'll show that real quick. It looks real good though. And then if you have more, these side pieces flip up. And you can connect multiples. I mean, holy cow. If Hot Toys sold just these, I don't know how much a pop, right? Maybe 20 bucks. It's probably more than that. Let's be real here. But whatever. Imagine getting like $100 worth of these and having your whole background with that. That would be fantastic. So Hot Toys, if you're watching this, I know you're not, but if you are, we want these by themselves. And I think the The Shadow Trooper comes with a red one. I didn't get the Shadow Trooper. I'm trying just to stick to original trilogy stuff now because it's too much and I just want to keep it simple. And then it talks about batteries, you know, leaking batteries. Never keep batteries in your figures or stuff for an extended period of time if you're not going to be using them because they will eventually leak and it can ruin stuff. But here is the Stormtrooper out of packaging with everything it comes with. I've already got the Death Star background display plugged into the stand with the crotch grabber. And as you can see, it's very minimalistic, but with trooper types, typically that's what happens. You don't get a lot, but they are cheaper in cost, which is nice. So this is a silica pack. It's actually Hot Toys marketed. This was actually inside the compartment where the batteries go. So when you open the battery compartment up, take this out first. Don't try and jam your batteries in. This will be stuck in the very back. So make sure you get that pulled out before you put your batteries in. And then just real quick, you can see the hands he has. He has 2 fists, 2 trigger hands, and then kind of just like an open palm. And then the hands he comes with are kind of like, I don't know, less open palm hands than this one right here. And let's look at the detail real quick on one of the hands. I mean, it's a Stormtrooper. You can see the nice armor. Not a lot of weathering on this Stormtrooper. So if you like your stuff weathered up, like, you know, George Lucas's used universe, this isn't going to be what that is. There's not much weathering, if any, on this figure. So just keep that in mind. If you're wanting like a sand trooper type, dirty, it's nothing like that. This is a pristine trooper, which I'm okay with. There is some weathering down here on the sides. I'll zoom in to show, but it's pretty pristine. Like, he's been on the Death Star his whole career. He hasn't gotten dirty, hasn't been in you know, battles or anything like that. Here's the E11 blaster. If I zoom in a little bit to show this is weathered, and the detail on this is very nice. I can't believe I've been collecting Hot Toys this long, and this is my first Stormtrooper in E11. Kind of blows me away. And then if I zoom back a little bit, and I don't think we ever saw this, but it does have a stock which comes undone, and I think it goes like so, if I remember correctly. But they do have a stock on this E11, which we never really saw in the movies, to my knowledge. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I don't remember them ever holding them like this. But yeah, so that's one way that that they can, for more accuracy, which we all know they need more accuracy, right? And then here is the thermal detonator, which goes in the back on the waist, and you can see the metal clips here that clips onto the back of the ammo belt. And then, of course, they give you 2 wrist pegs in case you break them, which is always nice. I have never broken a wrist peg ever from Hot Toys, but it's cool that they give those to you. And then let's look at the LED display base real quick before I feature the figure, because this is one of the reasons why I was so keen on getting this. You know, down here you can see it says Stormtrooper. It says Star Wars Stormtrooper. There's nothing else. Doesn't say like what movie it's from. Now I noticed the bottom here is gray, and I believe in A New Hope, the Death Star plating in the floor was black. And in Return of the Jedi, boy, I can't say that I remember now. I'm thinking of like when the shuttle comes with the Emperor. Was it gray there? I don't know, but it's a gray bottom, which is fine. It matches the Death Star wall. And this thing is pretty tall. I think it's a total of 15 inches. I don't know that it'll fit in a Detolf. I'll check for this review and let you know, but it's going to be close. But on the back, if you spin this around, or on the side, I'll show you here. If you want to get more of these bases, this flips out, and they interlock. They interlock on both sides. One goes lower, as you can see. One's the same height. But yeah, so if you want to do more, you can connect more. But it means you gotta buy more figures, which that's not cheap, right? So it'd be cool if they just sold this. And then if you want, for the other view, you can have this side of the Death Star. Now, unfortunately, this is like a piece of cardboard. It's not plastic, which kind of bums me out. This on front here is a plastic, but this is just cardboard. So the thing about this is one, you can see where it slides in. So if you're going to use it as a background drop, you're going to see these little tabs. But 2, you've got to move this. You've got to pull this up in order to get to the batteries. And so there's a lot of moving around with this. So here, as you can see, is a battery compartment, and you'll need a little screwdriver to get this little screw out, and then you just slide the 3 AAA batteries up into there. But again, make sure you take out the silica pack, otherwise you might be in trouble. And then here's the on-off switch. So you turn it on, close this back down, and boom, there it is. And that looks fantastic. Now, my camera lighting, you see a little blue. There's no blue in this at all. It's white LED, just like it would look on the Death Star. So don't worry about thinking, is this blue? And they are LEDs, which is good. They're not going to burn out, or they're not going to, yellow over time, which is nice. So let's just try putting the Stormtrooper on here real quick. I got to pull that crotch grabber up. But yeah, man, he looks pretty awesome behind that. Look at that. And then, of course, if you get this, you can use this backdrop for anyone. You can put Vader in front of it, Thrawn. I mean, anyone you can think of, right, can go in front of that backdrop. But boy, wow, what a cool diorama. And I like to see that Hot Toys is starting to do more diorama stuff like this. Simple, but awesome. So, man, I am all on board that they have done this. Let's take a look at the figure now. Let me try and adjust my camera, and we'll go over articulation. Being a trooper type with armor, there's going to be some limitations in some areas, so just know that going into this. The head is on a ball joint, and it does look down pretty good. That this part catches, but he looks down pretty good. He looks up really good, and like most of the trooper types, you can really... There's no head, it's just a ball joint. If I zoom in, can you see that ball joint in there? Yeah, there's no like head. It's just a empty ball joint. So that means you might be able to put someone else's head on this. Like, would Luke Skywalker's head go on this? Maybe, I don't know. If the ball joint's the right size. So that's kind of cool to think about. And then the arms, we got the shoulders here. They do go up 90. And as you can see, these are on like elastic straps. So I kind of worry about that. I would have much preferred Velcro, but it allows you to move it with the elastic to get it out of the way. And the arms do have a butterfly. They do row. And then the elbows are double jointed. I gotta turn this. Are double jointed, but because of the the armor, you're gonna only get about 90 or so, unless you move that armor out of the way. There we go. So kind of like that, and it's still about 90. And then ball hinge wrist pegs, which is normal for Hot Toys. Now, obviously, when you talk about chest articulation, you're not going to have a whole lot because he's armored, right? So you don't really get anything going forward. Back, you get some going back, and then he can twist a little bit, and you can go a little bit that way. So not a whole lot in the torso, but I wasn't expecting much. Now for the legs, these are separate. These thigh armor pieces do move up and down, so you could cheat it a bit and rotate it over, like some of the clones you can do that with, to get almost 90. As you can see, I moved the thigh armor over to the right to give me more room. And then the knees are double jointed on really tight ratchets. And it is tight, but you can get 90 out of it. Just about. I'm afraid to force it. I don't want this plastic to break or anything. You can really see the knee there and the suit below. But that's a tight ratchet joint there. And then the boots are ball hinge, I believe, or ball peg, because you get some nice rocker. Now there's some weathering on the boots here. I do like that they cut it like this. The one thing I don't like is that you can see black here. Either this needed to be smaller or this needed to be wider to come down to cover that better. Unless I'm doing something wrong here. But yeah, I don't like you can see that black gap right there, because that boot is white going up behind the armor, to my knowledge. It wasn't like little footsies like this, footies or whatever these are, sneakers. It was a boot that went up and the armor came over it. But a minor gripe. Otherwise, this thing looks great. Now, I did bring out my my gloves. And, for figures like this, you really gotta be careful because it's got a high gloss. I don't know that this is painted. I think this is just plastic, not painted. I believe the white is not painted, I think. but you're going to see, you know, if you get into a nice light, you're going to see fingerprints probably. So just keep that in mind. You know, maybe wear gloves or have a way to wipe this thing down when you're done. You want to display them. And then here is the holster for the blaster. So let's see if we can get this thing in on camera. It's not always easy the first time. This pleather stuff, holster stuff, is so fragile too. You gotta be really careful. But yeah, he does hold it good. So that's it right there. That's the blaster. Yeah, ammo pouches here on the side. Oh, we got to try and get, and this armor does move, kind of like the clones too. The clones armor kind of move. This ammo belt, which you can take off. It is Velcroed here. It would probably be easier to put the thermal detonator on with this off, but I just, oh, look at that. I got it my first try. I cannot believe it on camera. I got that to go on. And that covers up where the Velcro is for the belt, so you don't really see that, which is nice. So let's take a closer look at some of the details on this figure. I'm going to put him back on the stand because I want to show you guys the helmet and just, you know, how he looks overall, because it's a really nice looking Stormtrooper. Trying to get that armor all set up right. It's kind of hard to see the green with my lighting. You can see it a little bit. You see it a lot in real life. In person, you see the green a lot. And I'm not going to lie, I've watched episode 4 through 6 so many times, and I've never really noticed the green lenses too much. It always seemed black to me. So for me, it's a little jarring at how green they really are. But yeah, you can see there's a little bit of weathering there, not much. You get in close, you can see some of the weathering that they've done on this figure. There's the green eyes. Pretty cool. Yeah. That plastoid armor. The body glove suit. I always thought the design for the knees was cool. I think this is ammo. I can't remember. I think these are ammo rounds or something specific. I think this was the knee they used to kneel down on because it's flat. If I remember correctly, that's how that worked. For getting down in a kneeling pose for shooting. But yeah, really nice looking figure. It's a Stormtrooper. Very simplistic, but boy, very recognizable. Super cool. Let me zoom in really close. Trying to see those teeth. Yeah, the teeth are gray, I believe. The teeth are gray. Comlink is black. The air filter things look like metal. And then these vents over here are blue. I always forget if that's just like a decal or what, if it means something. I can't remember. Yeah, looks really good. Let's try and do some poses, see what we can get this guy to do. Okay, one of the big things with troopers is to see if you can get them to aim down the sights. And for the most part, he can do this. As you can see, I've got his right arm up. Arm moves really good. Because of this spandex lycra type suit, he can move a lot, which is nice. And if you get the armor pieces moved a certain way, you can get more range. So you can see, I mean, this is a pretty dynamic pose for a figure with armor pieces on, right? And as you look, it's just about got it down the sights. Not perfect, but pretty darn good. So if you want to do something like that, this figure has the range to do that. So that's pretty cool. Let's try and see if I can get him to kneel. I'm not sure if we can do that. Yeah, so the kneeling isn't really going to happen because of right here, because of the hip right here. It's catching, so you're not going to be able to get, even turning it, turning that thigh armor. It's about as far as I can go. I don't want to. Well, I guess I can maybe get, yeah, there's not a whole lot. So it's going to be really difficult to get him to kneel. But not that I'm going to do that. I just wanted to see his mobility, his range, to see if he even could do something like kneel. Be pretty wild if you could. Well, let's try something else here. All right, here I'm kind of coming down the landing, kind of in a running pose. Nothing too spectacular, but just showing you kind of what you can do with his background and then with the trooper. So, you know, kind of cool, something different. Okay, and this is kind of one of the promo pics they did for the blogger shots on Sideshow's website. So you can have them kind of coming off the base as well like this, and it looks pretty cool. I will say that thermal detonator's fallen off 3 times now with me trying to pose this guy. It's amazing how easy that thing falls off. So again, magnetic would have been great to have. You could just take it off, do your pose, you know, snap it in place, boom, be done with it. Instead of trying to get that to hang. Like, I think about Boba Fett in like Mandalorian. I think Boba, the first few, you had to grasp it to clamp it on, and now they're just magnetic. It's so much easier. This should be magnetic. So anyway, I'm kind of going off on that, but it makes things a lot easier. But yeah, really cool. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons now, some side by sides. All right, and here he is next to Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper and Grand Admiral Thrawn from the Ahsoka series. And I'm surprised how short the Stormtrooper is. I measured him, he comes in at 11 3/4 inches, 11.75, so he's under 12 inches. So maybe this is Luke. Maybe this is Luke as a Stormtrooper. Still though, I mean, boy, seeing all this, man, seeing this together side by side, seeing Thrawn with these, well, this is my favorite trooper type right here, Scout Trooper, by far. Then probably like the AT-AT driver, and then maybe TIE Fighter pilot, and then we start going into like Shore Trooper, stuff like that. But boy, man, I am so excited that seeing these guys together. This looks fantastic. Let's go ahead and grab Vader and see what he looks like. All right, and there's the Sith Lord, Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi. Just came out a few months ago. Boy, seeing Vader next to the Stormtrooper makes the Stormtrooper look even smaller. I can't believe how much smaller he looks. But that is really cool. Really awesome. Let's put a couple other figures against that LED backdrop. Okay, and Vader pretty much just absorbs the background because of that cloak, the cape, everything. He takes up so much of it. So if you were to get like, you know, 2 or 3 of these side by side, then I think it would look great with Vader. Maybe if I get Vader down lower off the stand, how does that look? It looks better. But even for like toy photography, you know, it would be a nice shot right here to get something like that. Or even like a profile shot, side shot, something like this. Let's see here. Yeah, you know, something like that. Get the frame right. Yeah, that'd be cool. Very awesome. Let's throw Thrawn on there and see what Thrawn looks like, because he's my favorite Star Wars character. Grand Admiral Thrawn standing behind that. That looks awesome. He might be on the Chimera or something like that, or maybe he's going to visit the Emperor at the Death Star. Wow, super cool. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. All right, so at the end of the day, is this figure worth it? Well, he comes in at $240, which is a bit more for a trooper. Troopers are typically around $225, $230, something like that. But because he has this LED battery-powered backdrop, which is why he's more. But honestly, for that backdrop, I expected him to be at least $250. So as much as I hate to say I'm okay with this price, I'm okay with this price because of this diorama type background. Overall, I'm very satisfied with the figure. He is very nice. He articulates good. You can move the armor pieces around, kind of like the clones in that regard. If you have a couple clones, kind of the same thing. You can cheat some stuff. And I think as far as the weathering, there's some weathering. I'm okay with him looking pretty much pristine. I'm okay with that. I like that look for a Stormtrooper that's on the Death Star. It looks good. Otherwise, I don't have many complaints, honestly. Maybe the fact that the thermal detonator is not magnetic. That's my biggest complaint. And the fact that these boots down here, you can see black a little bit. You just can't seem to get this armor piece over that front there. Other than that, man, this is a win. Great release by Hot Toys. This is probably my last Hot Toys for the year. We're closing in here on 2024. So I'll be doing some reviews, end of year reviews with stuff. Plus I've got my room kind of redone. I might be doing a room tour here in a little bit. But if you want this guy, he's still available on Sideshow for $240, and he's also available on Big Bad Toy Store for $254. So he's more there, but of course shipping's less. So yeah, I think if you like Stormtroopers, if you like Star Wars, if you like the original trilogy especially, this is a great release, and I just hope Hot Toys makes these to be sold individually. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. That's just not their thing. But we'll see. If enough people bring it up, it might happen. I would love to get at least 4 or 5 of these and put them against the back of my display cabinet as a full Star Wars display. So let me know what you guys think. I'm kind of rambling here, but this is a really cool figure. I'm really impressed by it. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a like, comment, subscribe, whatever, all that good stuff. And until next time, this has been Hot Toys Star Wars Stormtrooper with Death Star display. Thanks for watching.